Welcome back to more of my survival world. I hope everyone is having a great day. I just streamed earlier, again, and it was a lot of fun. Huge shout out to everybody who came out to the stream. The entire stream is currently uploaded on my channel. If you click on the live section on my channel, you should be able to watch it back if you would like to. But if not, I will just kind of give you the rundown of what I did. I went mining, I got a whole bunch of iron, and I also found some dripstone so I could finish off the lava farm that I built last time. Speaking of last time, we built this, and I really like it. We have like a super smelter blacksmith building, and then a place for the blacksmith to live. I think I'm gonna actually put a villager in here once I, bring villagers over to this area. And I also made a custom tree again, obviously. I made this spruce one. I like it. Got a lot of feedback on it. A couple people suggested that I add more diagonal branches, and I completely agree. I added one, you can see like up here, but then for some reason I just didn't do it again. I will definitely add more diagonal branches the more trees that I build. But in that stream, like I said, we found dripstone, so I can finally get this lava farm going. I also gathered up a whole bunch of iron, though I feel like some is stuck. Yeah, it is stuck. I thought so. I put torches in here. Somebody pointed that out. Oh, I dropped my pickaxe. Somebody pointed that out in my stream, that I put torches in the furnace by accident. Yeah, okay. So now more of it should be going through. But we have like, I want to say 4 stacks of iron or so. Somewhere around there. Let me take a quick sleep though, because I don't want to die. It was a really good stream. Streamed for like 3 hours. It was a great time. A bunch of people came out to check it out, and I really appreciate that. So if you're in the stream, thank you so much. I'll probably stream again, hopefully relatively soon, at the time of me recording this. That won't affect you guys watching because it would have already happened. Weird. It's getting a little meta now at this point. But I do want to do some terraforming. I was going to get to that in the stream if I had time, but then it took me way too long to find dripstone. So I didn't end up terraforming anything. I do think a terraforming stream would be pretty chill though. I am running over to the enchanting tower right now because at the end of my stream I decided to fish, and I fished up these 2 bows. Insane. Power 4, Unbreaking 3, and Power 4. I just want to store them in the enchanting tower for right now. And I also want to put an anvil in here. Now that I have a lot of iron, I can afford this for sure. I feel like an anvil in this area makes sense. I should also probably put a grindstone. For now though, I'm just gonna stick the anvil right there. I'll probably put the grindstone somewhere near it as well. I also enchanted a shovel at the end of the stream. Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3, so we're continuing the trend of getting exactly that. The next enchant is currently Unbreaking 3, so maybe it'll be the same thing again. Or Luck of the Sea 2, which I kind of don't care about. I just wanted to drop all these things off in the enchanting tower. And probably this pickaxe too. Yeah, I'll keep a pickaxe in here, because if I ever see like Fortune or Silk Touch or something, I will definitely take that on the pickaxe. I do want to take the rest of the iron that I have on me. I have 33. I want to make a couple buckets. I want to keep these buckets in the super smelter area, just so I can continually have a fuel source. I'll try to remember to come back through here every so often and just gather up the lava. And this is currently only 6 cauldrons, but I do want this to be 8, considering I have 8 furnaces in this super smelter. I really don't have a crafting table in here. Why did I not put a crafting table in here? So I'm gonna extend my lava farm out 1 more block, so we're gonna have 9 cauldrons. This way I can very easily provide each furnace with, an adequate amount of fuel. I do need a couple more pieces of dripstone though. But thankfully, I am able to grow dripstone here, and I don't have to travel all the way back to the dripstone cave. That took a very long time to find. By the way, I kind of feel like I was trying to find a mangrove swamp all over again. So let me make a little dripstone farm. Probably in the 2nd floor of the smelting building. It's not going to look good. I'm not going to design it. I'm just going to make it very basic. I really shouldn't need much of this dripstone, just in general. I guess unless I want to use it for building. Maybe then I'll make a bigger farm. But this should be good enough for now. That dripstone will continue to grow down, and then I'll come back here and harvest it in a little while. But this lava farm actually fills up decently fast. So it shouldn't take too long, honestly, to have like a full chest of lava buckets, and then this thing will run for a really long time. Also, I do want to check something. I'm level 27, and I just want to show you guys a little tip if you don't know this. If you make a super smelter like this, you might be wondering how you get the experience from the thing smelted. If you break the furnace, you will get all your experience. It all kind of stays there. At first, I thought this super smelter was going to be not enough, but the more I sit here and think about this, if each of these has a fresh lava bucket in it, I can smelt 800 items. That's 12.5 stacks. That's not bad at all. And since I'm so close to level 30, Let me see if I can get there quickly before I name any YouTube members. Let's see if breeding the animals will do it. I'd love to enchant something else if I could. Dude, I'm like completely there. There we go. All right, level 30. Let's go enchant one more thing, and then I will be back to name the YouTube members. I should consider making some diamond armor, probably. This iron armor is, like, completely dead. I only have 13 diamonds, though. That's enough to make a chest piece and some boots. I'm gonna do that. I mainly just want the boots here just so I can check the enchant right now. Because if I can get feather falling, I'm gonna take that immediately. All right, what do we got? Fire protection. Don't want that. Unbreaking 3. I don't think I'm gonna take that. I think I'll only take an enchant on the boots there if it's like the last thing I have to enchant, or if it's guaranteed feather falling. I'm gonna do this Unbreaking 3 diamond pickaxe, because maybe this will give me fortune. It's the same enchant again. I've gotten the same enchant 4 times in a row. And then next one is Unbreaking 3. It could happen again. What is going on? I need to put a grindstone up here. I'll try to remember to bring a grindstone up here. Though I'm actually going to switch out these pickaxes. Might as well use the fresh one. I'll keep this one here just to keep enchanting. And what's my book? Band of Arthropods. Get me out of here. Dude, the channel is up to 41 YouTube members? You guys are crazy. Let me now introduce everyone to the YouTube members. The new ones. We got Crave for Carnage, Silent Sharpie, Logan Brandt, Zezus himself. One of those two might be right. I don't know. Quagmire, my guy. Amy, Diamond Boots, no. Raccoon, Snarn, Sir Guinea Pig, D-Star Gaming, Luis Moreno, or Moreno, I think it's probably Moreno. Jacob Rellinger, Panda Cult Gaming, Amanda Panda, look at that, Panda theme, Blake Brooks, Wolfie, Headstrong, and Cosmic. Oh, actually, and Seth D. Can't forget Seth D. Thank you all so much for becoming Shram-a-lambs. I am almost filling up 2 barrels. What is happening? I'm gonna need an experience farm soon just to keep up with all the new YouTube members, I swear. Also, I am like 95% sure one of those YouTube members asked me to be named a specific block, and I completely forgot, and I could not find the comment. I looked for a little while, and yeah, there's a lot of comments. I'm sorry. If you recently commented that, please comment it again, and I'll do my best to like screenshot it so I can remember. These like intro segments to the videos are just getting longer and longer. But you know what? Who cares? We ball. I think I want to make a pumpkin patch at this point. It's nearing the end of October. Spooky season is kind of over. The best season of the year. But, you know, it's still fall. Pumpkins still fall related. I think that can work. I'm just going to figure out a spot for it. Maybe somewhere behind the barn? Back in this flat area could be kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to work on now. Because I'm sure I'm going to use orange roofs again in the future. I'm just lighting up this cave so nothing can spawn back here. But I'm probably going to use orange roofs again in the future. So, honestly, just having a good source of pumpkins would be pretty good. Also, I might as well take this coal. I should be saving on a lot of coal now with that lava farm. That just means more campfires and lanterns for your boy. So yeah, let me plan on it going back here. And I think I'm probably going to have to cut into this hill a little bit. I think I'll eventually level off back here at some point and then make another retaining wall. But for the time being, gonna just cut this way. And you know what? I'm gonna use my new shovel. Oh, it's so much faster. I mainly wanted to enchant a shovel soon because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing some terraforming in this episode. And I'm gonna need a lot of dirt for that. And honestly, this helps quite a bit. How do I want this landscape to look, though? That's the weird thing. I think I can probably take away this entire hill right here. It looks kind of awkward here anyway. I'm thinking like straight back here, over there. I think that'll probably look the best. Yeah, so this really did not take long with this new shovel. Man, I'm so glad you can insta-mine dirt this easily. So now the area back here looks like this. I do want to like make this curve a lot less harsh. So let me actually grab some of this dirt back. I just threw it all in this chest over here. This shape should be a lot better now. Put a couple torches down here. And then I'll just build this up to the terrain. And then a retaining wall around this will look nice. You can just picture a nice retaining wall right in this area. I'll flatten up more spots over there. And then we could probably extend this like farming district up this way. Maybe that's actually where I'm going to build today. I think that might be the plan for today. I don't know. I'll figure that out more. But I do want to level off the rest of this area, like filling in all these gaps. And you know what? I'm going to shear all this grass. I don't want to waste it. I got a lot of the grass removed here from this interior area. Got like 3 more stacks of it. That's nice. I'm going to use grass quite a bit. I kind of have been in sporadic areas, but I do want to use it more. I should also probably close off this cave. And honestly, seeing as I'm probably going to do some work in this area today, I'm not too worried about this terraforming looking perfect. Terraforming is definitely a challenge to get it right. I mean, this looks fine. Yeah, whatever. I'm probably going to change that very soon, but just to get something down. I did just think of something else I really want to do, and I keep putting it off for some reason. So now that I've flattened this out to an area that I'm comfortable with, let me go do this thing that I've been thinking about. It's not even like a big deal. I just want to make one of those auto bone meal converter things with all the leftover seeds that I have. They're very simple to make, but in case you don't know how to make one, let me show you. In order to make one of these, you're going to need 2 chests or barrels, but there's a barrel over near the barn that I'm actually going to use, so I'm only going to bring 1 chest. You're going to need 1 composter, and then 2 hoppers, so I actually do need 2 more chests. And let me just surround this thing in trapdoors, just so there's some level of decoration. Honestly, I have 7 trapdoors. I don't think that's going to be enough. But there's this barrel here. I'm just going to use this one. So you put 1 barrel on the bottom, hopper on top of that, composter on top of that, hopper on top of the composter, and then chest all the way at the top. Now if I put seeds in this top chest, it'll automatically go into the composter, which will fill up and then make bone meal. Like you see down here, there's 1 piece of bone meal. I'm just gonna leave it out like that. I don't mind seeing it. This works. I'm gonna do that with all of the seeds that I have, because I have such an excess of seeds at the moment. As you'll see by this chest, I have an entire double chest full of seeds. All right, now while that works through all the bone meal, I can build up this little pumpkin patch, pumpkin farm kind of thing. And I think I'm gonna do this in a time lapse. I don't have enough time lapses in my videos, I don't think, so let me throw one in right now. Yeah, so it isn't really anything special, but here is our new pumpkin farm. Pumpkin patch, whatever you want to call it. There's probably more detailing I can do to this, but honestly, this should be good for now. And as for like the actual land that I tilled, I kind of just ran through and randomly did it. Because pumpkins grow weird, right? They grow like adjacent to the block, not on the block. There could definitely be spots where pumpkins can't grow that I've planted in this area. But there should still be enough here where I'll be getting a decent supply of pumpkins after a little while. I do have to wait for them to grow though. I couldn't, replant the whole thing. I also decided to throw some jack-o'-lanterns in here just to light it up. I think it looks pretty cool. I do actually want to put these in the roof of my starter house and of the barn, since I actually have pumpkins in those roofs, because you can turn the jack-o'-lanterns away so you don't see the face, but I'm pretty sure light still emits from the back. And actually, let me test that out really quick. If that's the case, I definitely want to put some of these in the roof once I get a decent supply of pumpkins. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna borrow this decorative hay just to pillar up to the roof real quick. Yeah, that does light it up. That's sick. Okay, I want to do that in a couple more spots once I get more pumpkins. That's awesome. I'm pretty sure somebody suggested that. I'll try to find the comment if I can, but if I can't find the comment, I apologize. But thank you so much for the suggestion. At this point though, I would like to do another Q&A section. So 2 episodes ago, I asked for you guys to leave me a bunch of questions, and I would answer them in these videos. I pretty naively thought I could answer all of them last episode, but there was a lot of questions. I only got through like 5 or 6 last time. I'll probably get through a similar number today, and while I'm doing this, I think I'm just going to dig out some of the mining building. Before that though, I want to heal up my armor. I'm just going to put 2 pieces of iron towards each piece. And that looks a lot better now. But I eventually want this mine going all the way down to deep slate level. So let me try to get a decent chunk done here. The first question here is by DragonDoodles78, and they actually have 2 questions that they ask. Number 1 is probably my most asked question. What are my cats' names? And honestly, I'm gonna keep this a secret until I hit 100K. All right, cat name reveal at 100K. The second part of their question is, what got you into playing Minecraft? And honestly, it's a very basic answer, but one of my IRL friends did. I think it was like 2011, 12, somewhere around there when I first started playing. He told me about this game, and I just decided to play with him, and I really liked it. Very basic answer. Nothing really too interesting happened. Kyle McCann, 9133, asks me, I'll be moving away for university soon. I like to think I'll be fine, but I can't help but worry about some things. What was moving out like for you? There's like 2 levels of moving out, right? At least for me. I kind of went through 2 different phases. I moved out for college for the first time, and then I moved after college into my own apartment with my girlfriend. And both of those I was fairly nervous about, even though in college I had my best friend with me and also my girlfriend. I mean, she wasn't living with me, but she went to the same school that I did. And just having them around was like a huge support system, so it definitely helped with the, huge transition. I'm unsure what your situation's looking like, if you have anyone who going to your university. If you do, that's huge. I think that makes the transition so much easier. But if you don't, I'm sure you'll still be okay. Like, you'll adapt to the lifestyle at some point. It might feel overwhelming, like I might feel like you have to completely support yourself or whatever, because that's kind of what I went through, but that's not really the case at all. There's a lot going on on university campuses, like you have a lot of support. And then moving out on my own after college, it felt the same way. It felt like I had to completely support myself. But again, I mean, I had my girlfriend living with me, so I didn't actually have to just fully support myself. Our parents still lived kind of close. Like, I'm not sure how far your university is away from your parents, like your home, but if it's pretty close, going back and visiting is huge. I'm not really sure if my experience is helpful at all, but just know that I was definitely incredibly nervous. I'm pretty sure like everyone is going through a big change like that. Just know you're not alone. Gage LeBreak 8578 asks me, also, how do you handle stress in public when surrounded by lots of people? They have severe anxiety and struggle with it in the adult age. This is a tough one because I also have a ton of anxiety, as I think like most people do. So being in public still isn't like the greatest. I still don't really like it too much, honestly. Like, I'd rather not be, But I've tried to train myself to realize that like no one really cares about you. Like, I don't mean this in like the bad way, like you're worthless. No, I don't mean it like that. I mean like everyone's usually very preoccupied with themselves in public, Everyone kind of has, I feel like, the same mindset where they all think everyone cares about them so much. And again, I'm not trying to say people are conceited, but the moment you realize that people are worrying about themselves way more than they're worrying about like what you're doing, I guess unless you're doing something crazy, then I feel like your anxiety goes down a little. At least mine did. Obviously, anxiety is a tricky one. It's completely different for everyone, and it really sucks. But it helped me a lot when I tried to start thinking about it more that way. I just kind of stopped caring as much about what other people thought. Like, obviously, I still care a lot about what other people think. I'm not trying to be an idiot in public, But, like, everyone is far more concerned with themselves than they are with, like, the general public around them, I think. So if you're struggling with anxiety, this doesn't even just relate to the person who asked this question, but if you're struggling with anxiety, just know you're absolutely not alone. I'm pretty sure the vast majority of people struggle with anxiety as well. So I feel like there's probably a lot of people who are feeling exactly what you're feeling about being in public. Because being in public is a little scary. I do hope that helped at least a little bit. I feel like I'm gonna mispronounce this name, but Aricha 8054? I don't know, I gave it a try. They ask, about how long are your recording sessions for these videos? Do they span multiple days, or do you prefer doing it all at once? This is another question I've been getting a lot. I've like kind of answered it, I think, in my stream a little bit, but I'm just gonna answer the second part first. I don't do these recording sessions all in one day. I can't play Minecraft for that long, honestly, because they take probably like, depending on the build, I would say 10 to 15 hours-ish to record. Sometimes it's definitely more. Some of my Hardcore Season 2 videos took me like probably 25 hours to record, some of the pretty big projects I did. But a lot of these episodes have taken probably 10 to like 15, 16 hours to record. I usually record in like 4-hour segments at a time, sometimes less if I don't have the time. But I like to go like 4.5 hours at most. I can't really do much more than that. I used to be able to play games for like 12 hours straight. I can't do that anymore. I'm old. And then the editing process is actually pretty short for this series. I don't really add too much editing, which is fine. I like editing this way. I feel like it gives a better feel and a better vibe to the videos, honestly. I was never really a good editor, so whenever I would try to edit in like jokes and memes and stuff, sometimes I think it came across well, but other times I felt like it was just weird and I couldn't get it to work. Because, like I said, I'm not good at editing. But this series, the editing doesn't take too long. It's probably like another 6 hours on top of that. Whereas some of my other videos in my hardcore worlds would be another like 15 hours on top for the editing process. Ariana asks me, also a Shram, let's go. They ask, do you play any other video games for fun? I absolutely do. So the new Call of Duty came out. I've been playing that a little bit lately. Black Ops 6. It's been sort of fun. I don't know. I'm a big COD kid. At least I was growing up. The best one, in my opinion, is the OG Modern Warfare 2. That's my favorite. I haven't really liked many of the recent Call of Duties. I think the last one I kind of genuinely liked was like Black Ops 4. And that was in 2019 or something, 2018 when that came out. A long time ago. Haven't really had fun on a COD in a minute, but Black Ops 6 is pretty fun. It's alright to play with friends. I think playing solo is pretty bad, but whatever. And then also, I've been trying to get better at Valorant. Man, I suck at that game. It's so hard. People are really good. I think it's because I haven't really played like mouse and keyboard shooters much, honestly. I didn't really play much CS or anything, like I mentioned before. Mainly a COD kid growing up. I have a lot of controller experience, but not much mouse and keyboard. But honestly, at this point, I've been playing Valorant for like a year and a half now. I probably should be alright. I'm just not. And I think I'm alright with that. Well, I'm trying to convince myself to be okay with that. Those are definitely the two games I'm playing the most outside of Minecraft here. The last question I'm going to answer today is by Cobra HD123. They ask, if I'm fine with using mods for quality of life features, why not use chunk base to look for biomes that you desperately want? The main reason why I didn't use chunk base to find the mangrove swamp is because I just genuinely like exploring in this game. It is fun. I like just taking Ghost on a little ride, seeing what I can find. So I don't know, sometimes like Minecraft mods are a bit of a slippery slope. I like to think the mods I use don't give me like too big of an advantage and take away from the game too much. I try my best to keep them that way. And I feel like chunk base might be a little bit too much for me at the moment. Like it might be a little bit too cheaty. How far did I dig down to? I'm mainly just trying to get the deep slate level with this. 16. We're actually almost there. But thank you so much to everybody who asked a question, you know, the ones that I answered today. And if your question is still not answered, I'm sorry, but you know, I mean, once more, means you're just gonna have to watch my next episode. That stinks. And don't worry, one day I will decorate this. But that day is definitely not today. What I do think I will do today though, is I think I'm gonna stream again. I did in fact not stream again. I just kind of didn't feel like it after recording this section of the video. I was pretty low energy. I didn't really feel like I would have an entertaining stream. My plan was to have a terraforming stream, and I still wanted to make some progress on this world, so I did still do the terraforming. I just didn't stream it. So instead, here's another time lapse of me getting some work done in this area. Let me show you all the terraforming that I just did. So over here, we now have a huge retaining wall holding up this entire piece of land. It's not textured at all. I'll go through and do that at some point, but I just kind of wanted to get the shape down first. There's also potentially room for another retaining wall in front here. I don't know if I'm going to do that or if I'm just going to level this whole area off. Haven't really thought that far ahead yet. Just kind of taking this in small portions. That's my favorite way to terraform, I think, because it makes me do a better job, honestly. If I had to do this entire thing in one project, I think I would just get lazy, and a lot of the walls would just look like this, probably forever. So I'm just going to keep it pretty simple for now. I'll come back and texture this at some other point. And then over here, I did a little bit more work as well. There's a bunch of holes over here before, and also this area where like the barn is was floating. So now it's just way more gradual, going down a couple layers. I still have no idea what I want to do back here. I'll probably just do the same thing, honestly, level this off for the most part, because there's a bunch of weird like little hills and little like holes and stuff. It's a weird looking terrain, but it's fine. We have a lot of time in this world. I'm not trying to rush things, obviously. Now, though, I actually kind of want to do a little bit more terraforming, if I'm honest, because I want to start prepping the area for the build today. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go back here. The thing I want to build today is an apiary. I want to have a place for bees to be chilling. Also, I didn't even realize my pumpkins have grown in. Oh, it's going to be annoying not to mine the jack-o'-lanterns. Whatever. Maybe I'll put like a slab on them or something, so I don't mine those up. But this is good. I was kind of worried this farm wouldn't be that great, but it's working. That was a jack-o'-lantern. But it seems to be working pretty well. But like I was saying, I really want to make like an apiary today. Like a nice greenhouse with a bunch of bees inside. And I think up here somewhere would be the perfect spot. But this area looks kind of horrible at the moment. I did work on this wall a little bit earlier. This is kind of prepped just to have a retaining wall right in front of it. I kind of have to figure out the rest of this landscape here. But my idea, right, is that I can have a pathway come through here. This will connect up to the main pathway. It'll wind this way and then curve back over here again. And then there'll be a staircase like right here maybe that takes you up to the next level. What I'm going to start with though is leveling off an area to build, and then I'll figure out the retaining walls from there. I've been digging out some blocks and replacing them for a little while now, just kind of trying to figure out the shape I wanted for this area. And I think I've finally come up with a decent idea. I'm going to put the apiary on this level where I'm standing currently. I just need to get rid of this whole section here. So now this retaining wall is probably going to come around like this and then kind of just straighten off right back here. Not completely straight, but for the most part, you know? So I need to dig away this entire section and flatten off this whole land here. That should give me enough room. At least I hope it does. All right, so I think I have everything pretty much dug out now. This gave me so many blocks. Probably like an entire double chest full of stone or cobblestone and dirt. But now the area is looking like this. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I think I should be able to fit this building over here. It's going to be kind of an L-shaped building. Like sort of. I can probably have like the one section over here and then the other section over here. Yeah, that'll work out perfectly actually. I do want to use some of the cobblestone that I just mined up right now. And I want to put in a very temporary retaining wall. This retaining wall I will detail today. The one that I put like over there, like holding up this entire area, I'll detail that just throughout a couple episodes probably. I'm not going to do that all at once, I don't think. Maybe I will. I actually don't know. But just for now, let me just go through some cobblestone and put in a very temporary retaining wall here. Now, it might look like a complete mess of just cobblestone, but the retaining walls are now in. And I think this mountain is starting to look pretty good. I like the platforms looking like this way more than what they looked like before. The whole area, like terraform-wise, is actually kind of coming along now. I do have to populate it with like foliage and buildings and stuff for it to look better. But this is a pretty good start, I think. So now that the land is at least at a place where I can kind of start building, I'm going to start trying to figure out the color palette for this whole thing. Honestly, I'm a little indecisive about this one. I've been thinking about it for a little while now. And I'm between a couple things, but let me kind of show you my ideas. I'm mainly just between whether or not I want to make the build out of stone or if I want to make it out of wood. I think I'm leaning wood. I think it'll look better with like the stone walls and stuff behind. I think if I made it out of stone, even if it was tough, like a different kind of stone than what I have in these retaining walls, I think it would blend in a little bit too much. So my current idea is to have a tough foundation. Gonna have some tough bricks and some regular tough mixed in. Maybe I'll mix in some like mossy blocks and stuff. That looks pretty good with tough in my opinion. Then we're gonna have, I think, mainly oak wood for the wall color. I'll probably do a little bit of birch and a little bit of jungle as well, where I can, kind of like I did here in the barn. But I kind of want to make this one mainly oak. Kind of like how I made this building over here mainly out of birch. I want to flip that here and use mainly oak for this build. And then the roof color here is going to be green. So I want to use a combination of moss blocks, then some of these bamboo blocks, just as a nice highlight, and also mossy cobblestone, just in some areas where I can. I might work in some other green blocks along the way too. I'm thinking potentially copper. The final stage of copper looks pretty nice with moss, so maybe I'll work that in every so often, but I really like the blocks of bamboo. I can also get this texture of the bamboo block just as a little bit brighter kind of yellow green than the regular block of bamboo. So I think that's going to be the main roof color. This will be the wall color, and then the foundation will be out of tuff. That'll be one of the buildings. So I kind of said this before, I think, but we're going to have one main rectangle building right here. Might not be a perfect rectangle. Maybe I'll make it look a little bit different, kind of like over here. I jutted out this section a little bit so it wasn't just a regular rectangle. Anyway, so that's going to be this left section. The right section is going to be actually where the bees are. It's going to be the greenhouse, and I think I'm going to mainly make those walls out of glass. Unsure if it'll be like white stained glass or regular glass, or even like green stained glass could look kind of cool. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, though I don't think I have any cactus. So I don't really know if I can make green stained glass. Doesn't really matter, honestly. I'll figure that out whenever I'm gathering materials, but I do think the right side where the bees actually stay is going to mainly be out of glass. So that's the idea. I'm going to go ahead now then and gather up a bunch of materials. I set up a couple chests and a crafting table and a stone cutter over here, so this is going to be my little temporary workstation. Let me go gather a bunch of these materials here, and then I'll be back and we can start building. I should now be ready to start building. I'm excited to build this thing. I think it's going to turn out pretty well. I would also like to point out that I found 4 diamonds when I was gathering tuff. I mean, they're very useful right now. I'm completely out of diamonds, and my tools have seen better days. I've also laid out some copper because I think I am going to use some in the roofs and some of these trapdoors. I think these are going to be the windows. I kind of want the fully oxidized state, or even this state looks pretty good. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take a couple of these. I think meshing together the fully oxidized state and then the weathered copper would also look pretty nice. I am now just realizing I should probably get some honey now, because I'm gonna need to stop some of these pieces of copper from oxidizing. I'll do that later. I'll just let this all oxidize first, because I'm only going to be using the last stage and the second to last stage of this copper. So if I let this completely age, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. I just don't feel like going to get some honey right now. I really want to start building. So let me load up on some tuff blocks, because that's going to be the foundation of this build. And also some mossy bits. You can probably sprinkle some of those in. I'm going to change up the foundation a little bit for this build. So normally I would make it just 1 block on the bottom and just texture that stone. This time it's going to be 2, and it starts raining. Lovely. But this time it's going to be 2 blocks. The second level of blocks is going to be upside down stairs. I think it's going to look pretty cool. I did get this technique from Mr. Matt Ranger, so I want to shout him out really quickly. In the first episode of his survival series, he does this in his starter house, and I think it looks amazing. I mean, Matt is a fantastic builder. Like, I was just watching some of his episodes while I was gathering resources. Got me super inspired to start building. He is incredible. Like, I don't know how he builds the way he does. Anyway, let me start laying out this foundation. After a little bit of trial and error, I think I like the position of the building being right here. I'm still going to have a section attached to the right. That is going to be the greenhouse, like the actual glass greenhouse. I think this will be good. I should have room to walk around the entire building if I put it right here. And I'll probably have room for like some foliage and trees and stuff. I think it'll look pretty good. So this is the idea for the foundation of this building. Like I said, 1 level of full blocks, 1 level of upside down stairs. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm considering putting full blocks in the corner here instead. That looks kind of nice as well. I think I'm going to do that. I like the full blocks in the corners. Now that this is completely in, let me go back through and texture this thing with the different kind of tough blocks and with some mossy bits. Yeah, I really like how the texturing in this came out. I think this is a great looking foundation. I don't think this section up here is going to have any walls. I think this is just going to be like a stairway to get up into the building. So just temporarily, I'm going to put these stairs here. Honestly, I might leave those. They actually look pretty good. Whatever, I'll think about that later. The actual entrance to the building is going to be right here, I think. Thankfully, this is an odd number. The actual entrance to the building will be right here. So I brought in some spruce for the pillars here, and I'm now trying to figure out if I want to have depth on like every single wall. Like if I want the actual walls to be right here for everywhere, or if I want some of them to jut out a little bit, you know? Because I think varying up the depth is a pretty good way to decorate. Maybe I'll have these ones jut out in the front, and then the rest will just come along like this. Actually, this is going to remain open because this is going to be the entrance to the actual greenhouse. I think this will actually look pretty good. I'm going to rock with this. I guess I can always tear it down if I don't like it. I'm now going to come back through and I'm going to texture up these walls a little bit more. So I'm still going to do the same thing that I've been doing. Every block that's touching moss, I'm going to put stripped jungle wood. And then on top of all of those, we're gonna have stripped oak. But along with this stripped oak, I'm gonna put some regular oak planks as well. And then I'm wondering, what'll jungle planks look like in a couple spots? Well, I kind of like that, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Why not? Differentiate this build a little bit from the previous ones. Yeah, so this is going to be the roof shape. Nice, tall, swoopy roof, once again. I'm pretty sure it's the same roof that I used on the barn here. So now I just have to fill this out with all of the moss blocks. This might get a little tricky, but I want the brightest spot of the roof to be these bamboo blocks. So let me put a few of these down. And then every block touching those bamboo blocks, I'm gonna put the regular bamboo, just face the other way. All right, so something like that. And now every block touching this bamboo block, I'm gonna put moss. My inventory is kind of a mess at the moment, but don't worry about it. Hold on, it's all part of the process. So that'll end up looking like this. And I think that's good for like a highlight on the roof. Yeah, that looks nice from far away. I like that. And then I kind of want another section of texturing in this roof as well. This might end up getting complicated, but let's see what I can do. So let me work in some of this mossy cobblestone. And then this is where I'm going to start working in some copper. I'm just going to have a patch of the fully oxidized copper like in the middle of this roof. And then let's bring in some more of this weathered copper. And then every block touching that, we're going to put more of the mossy cobblestone. And then we're going to finish off with the moss once again. And let's throw another one of those highlight sections up here. This is also a really similar technique to what Matt used in his video, like the video I was referencing for the foundation. He also used a green roof and kind of used a similar patchy effect with the copper here. I'm not trying to take his entire build. I really just wanted the foundation. I kind of always intended on doing this for the roof color. It just kind of happened to line up this way. I mean, this just kind of happens sometimes. There might be a little bit more blending I can do between like the moss and the bamboo. I extended it down a little bit over here and I raised it up a little bit more over there. I think that helped a tad, but I like it. I'm gonna stick with it. A pretty funky looking roof, but I'm all about the funk, so we're good. Quick progress update. I have the roof now completely in, both sides. It's all completely decorated. And also I have the walls kind of completely in. I shouldn't say complete because there's still more decoration I want to do. I want to add some windows and stuff, but the walls are at least in and I have like a little archway design all the way around. And I think it's looking pretty cool so far. Now I would like to work on the actual greenhouse itself. And I think I'm going to do this in a time lapse because I don't really have an idea of how I'm going to do this. I don't really have a great plan. And I don't really feel like I'd be able to commentate this well because I have no idea what I'm going to do. So let me figure something out and then I'll be back at some point to kind of explain my thought process. I've been working on this building for a good while now, and I'm honestly very glad I didn't try to commentate this because my thought process was all over the place throughout this entire thing. But let me show you all the work that I've done, and then we can do a little bit more here. So, I changed up the roof a little bit. It's the same blocks, but it has added more stuff, and I really like it now. I already liked it before, but I think it's like perfect this way. So we got some like grass on the top. I have a couple leaves broken in just to really sell the overgrown effect. Very, very happy with this roof now. Something I've been doing with my exteriors lately is every time I have one of these arches, I've been putting open spruce fence gates underneath, and I really like this. It just sells the curve even more. It's a little bit annoying to continually do this, but I really like it. I did it for the first time on this build over here, and I was happy with it then, so I figured I would, do it over here as well. The interior is mostly done as well. So this first initial building is just kind of like a shop. We have a little area where you can buy stuff, buy like some, flowers and some mossy bits or whatever. And I do think this area actually needs a few more lanterns. Hold on. It's a little dark in here, but it works. Maybe I'll put one here too. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we have like a little shop, bunch of chests, bunch of barrels. I kind of figured I would actually store my like honey and my flowers and stuff in here. There should be enough storage. I mean, it's not like a ton, but I'm not going to have that much of any of these blocks, so it should be okay. Got a spore blossom in here as well for the nice particle effect. And then the greenhouse. Looks like it's on fire right now, but I just need to get some beehives to put over all these campfires. I tried to go pretty overgrown with this. We have 2 spore blossoms in here. I have some glowberries growing, a couple leaves draping in from the ceiling, and then also some potted flowers so the bees can actually pollinate something and then go make honey. I do hope these trapdoors don't mess with the bees at all. Hopefully they don't get stuck anywhere. But I will, I guess, test it whenever I end up getting these bees, which I think is going to be, like, now. I think I'm going to go grab some at the moment. And it is nighttime, which is actually kind of perfect for this. It's Halloween. Wait. No, don't kill him. I want to save this guy, actually. Hold on. I forgot that they do this on Halloween. We got another friend. Let's go. Hopefully he doesn't burn. I have, like, almost completely decimated this entire forest. Oh, there's a skeleton. Hold on. Hold on. Wait. Stop shooting at me. I want to preserve you. All right. Hold on. Hold on. No! No, don't kill him! Oh, God. Okay, I'm gonna die if I try to save him. Oh, he lived. Let's go. Oh, God. There's a lot of mobs in this area. Is my skeleton friend dying? Oh, he's not. He's still alive. They're all fighting each other at the moment, pretty much. My skeleton friend is still alive. Somehow he's made it out of this battle royale. Okay, he's in the boat. He's in the boat. Okay, I will not forget about you. I don't want to deal with this right now. Maybe when I get better armor. Because I can probably just, like, drag him in a boat wherever I want him, just whenever I have better armor and, you know, not at risk of dying. Let's continue what I was trying to do. Now, hopefully, I can just do this and then collect it. Nope, that doesn't work. Sorry, bees. But I'm gonna have to kill you. That's sad. Bees are some of my favorite mobs in this game, too. I'm sorry, man. I was hoping that would work, but I think you just need Silk Touch in order to get the beehives. So there is no longer a point in me, you know, chilling in the darkness. So let's sleep, and then I will just shear the beehives that are around here, and then I can just lure the bees back eventually. I'm sorry that I had to kill a bee. I actually feel so bad. I hate doing that. Looks like my boy is also not catching fire, so that's good. And I heard the skeleton on the way back too, so pretty sure he's still there. Okay, I got 3 beehives down. Let me go breed these little bees. I'm hoping that they just eventually go into one of these beehives. So let's go ahead and breed them and get the best baby mob in the game. Oh, dude, look at him. That's my favorite baby mob. He's so small. He's just doing his best. Just a little guy. A little family. I feel so bad for killing that other family. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I should have looked that up before I did that. Oh well. All right, so now that we actually have bees in here, I can eventually populate this entire place with beehives. The noises in here might get a little annoying. Oh, did you wander outside? Are they gonna get stuck like up there and stuff? Like, what are you doing? Are you ever gonna come down? I don't know. I'll check back on these guys later, I guess. I don't really know what he's after. Now I would like to come up with a window design, and I kind of have an idea. Though it kind of calls for a 2x2 window. I don't really know if I have any 2x2 sections in this entire build. No, I do not. Okay, so I'll have to save that window design for something else. I actually don't have too much room here for windows, which works out for me because I don't have too much copper on me at the moment. And I do want to make these windows out of copper trapdoors. Also, this whole entrance, I want this to be fully oxidized eventually. It'll just take some time. Where are you going? Dude, your beehive is back here. Yeah, man, go back home. But I want the windows to be like this. Well, actually, the fully oxidized version, but whatever. That'll get there eventually. So I think that works for a window in here. And then I can put one back there as well. Looks kind of weird, just chilling, but it's whatever. It looks like the mobs with the pumpkins on their head won't actually burn. That makes sense. I'm still gonna keep that one zombie over here under the tree. That's fine. But I'm gonna go with this inset window design. Pretty similar to what I did in the blacksmith building last time. But I used bamboo trapdoors there. This time we're using the copper trapdoors. And then I will also throw campfires over the top. And then I also throw some spruce trapdoors on the side. And what I really like about this design, with the campfire hanging out like this, is that you can put a lantern on it. And that looks so good. The only thing left then, with this build, is to decorate the exterior a little bit more. I kind of started over here. I didn't actually point this out, but I have a couple small patches of flowers. And that's going to be the vibe around this entire area. So I'm going to put a bunch of small grass, a bunch of just patches of different colored flowers. I'm gonna try to keep them, like, each color of flower in their own patch. I think that's gonna look the best. Though I don't actually think I have too many different colors of flowers. I could head back to the flower forest. I will probably have to, honestly. And I'm just gonna make the exterior of this building look nice and overgrown. I'll probably throw some like bushes in, throw some nice shrubbery all over the place. It's gonna look cool. So let me get all this done, and then I'll be back probably to build the tree for this episode. And I do want to texture up this wall. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. This is a big wall. Why did I not texture it earlier? Dude, past Shram, I dislike that guy a lot sometimes. Ow. Okay, anyway. Enough lollygagging. I don't think I've ever said that word in my life. Wow. But enough, enough procrastinating. Let me decorate the exterior of this build. And then we can move on. What's good? It's Editor Shram, your favorite. I completely forget in the next section of this video to mention that I didn't texture the entire wall. I textured a very small portion of the wall, the retaining wall that I just built that I was just complaining about. I only end up texturing just a little bit of it, kind of right in front of the building. I'm going to texture the rest in another video. I think in probably the next video, I'm going to go through this entire area that I've kind of built up for myself and finish it with quotes because it won't be completely done. But I want to just make it nice and neat and like have a pathway connecting everything. And I think in that episode, I will finish off all of the retaining walls that I've built. I will also likely tackle the council hall in that video as well, because we're getting pretty close to day 500 in this world. And I'm cooking up something a little special for day 500. If you've been a viewer of this channel for a while, I'm sure you know what it is. But I like having my starter area kind of completely finished before I get to this section. So let me pass it back to me from a couple days ago. I think this exterior turned out very nicely. It's a good little vibe up here. It's very cozy, pretty overgrown with all the different leaves and the different moss blocks and flowers and stuff. I also decorated the pathway a little bit with some rooted dirt and some coarse dirt. I also put a stairway coming up to the second level here, and it connects up to the path. I'm kind of just waiting now for the bees to produce a little bit more honey because I need to wax the copper on the roof. I waxed a little bit of it. Like all of this weathered copper is waxed now. But over here, it's still all fully oxidized, aside from these two pieces. And then on this side, this whole patch is fully oxidized. I want like the border of this to be weathered. So I'm still kind of waiting on that, and then the build will be completely done on the outside. Something I never knew about bees until right now is that they can enter their beehive through glass. So if I just kind of push that guy over, he'll enter his beehive. These guys keep getting stuck on like everything though. I have a lot of trapdoors in this build, like the windows, and they don't really understand how trapdoors work. They will often just chill and just stare at them. Or sometimes they'll completely like bug out and their wings won't even be flapping, or they'll do something like this. Like that's wood, my guy. It's not a flower. I get there's a flower outside of that piece of wood. I don't know. So this might not be too efficient. This is what I was talking about them just like glitching out. They just don't know how to react to trapdoors. I kind of have to keep giving them little nudges. I'm hoping this farm is efficient enough. Maybe once I get this place completely filled with bees and all these beehives are actually completely occupied, it'll be better. And they also always get stuck on this flowering azalea. Maybe I should move this. They always get stuck here instead of going inside the beehive. I don't know why that keeps happening. Whatever. Anyway, enough with the bees. I do want to start building a custom tree now. And I've been trying to figure out the position for this one. I want it to be near this new build. Kind of completing that trend. I think it's going to go over here. Maybe behind the build. Maybe I'll have like a nice tall oak tree or something back here. I do want to start building different types of trees. Like trees that aren't in Minecraft naturally. But just for today, I want to build an oak tree. I think back here. Maybe I can tower it over the building. This might be a really big oak tree. Or maybe I'll push it back to here even. Maybe I'll push it back to here. Because then I don't have to build it as tall. And it could still just be in the backdrop, you know? So I have enough wood. I probably have enough leaves. I have some mud brick walls. Let me grab a whole bunch of spruce stuff to make branches with. I think we're mostly good to start building here. So let's build this tree on this level up here. I think I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than the one I built a couple episodes ago. But it is going to be a very similar style. Getting a little weird with the trunk up here, but let's see what this looks like. Okay, I have to put a piece of spruce down here. I forgot one, but I think that could look kind of cool. as the trunk of the tree. Like I was saying, I don't remember when I actually mentioned this, but I've been looking at a lot of trees in real life to try to get some inspiration as well, and a lot of the trunks like branch off a whole bunch. Like they split off so many different ways, so I'm trying to emulate that here in the game. I think that looks pretty decent as a start. And don't worry, I will texture this wood. Okay, that's where I need that piece of spruce. Probably one more as well. Yeah, I will texture this wood, don't worry. Let me go grab all my scaffolding. I always forget that. And then I can start putting in all the branches. And I want to emphasize on this tree, I want to make more diagonal branches. I think my branches have been too, like, perfect in the cardinal directions, you know? That's not really realistic when it comes to trees. A lot of people have pointed that out, which I appreciate. I appreciate the constructive criticism. So let's try to get all around this thing. I'm just going to put all my scaffolding down pretty much because I'm going to be circling this tree for a long time. I'm going to die making this tree. I've already fallen off like 3 times. Let me put my spawn right there in case I do. Alright, so I got 3 branches on. And let me see how they look after I collect up all of my scaffolding here. Alright, let's take a look at these 3. Yeah, I like the shapes of those. They look definitely a little weird, especially this one. Like, it doesn't look like it's connected because it's, like, on a diagonal like that. But it'll look completely fine once the leaves are on, I promise. I like those. Okay, so let me replicate this idea around this whole tree. Let me just completely fill it with branches. I think I have all of the main branches on this tree now, and I'm liking the shape. It looks actually pretty solid without the leaves on. It's gonna look way better with the leaves on, but still, I think this is a sign of a pretty decent tree then. And I really tried to make it a point to make a lot of the branches diagonal. I usually just begin by putting leaves at the ends of the branches like this. About this many leaves, and then I can come back through later once I've done this to all of the branches, and I can really detail them more by putting on more leaves and changing out the colors of the leaves. That's gonna take some damage. But yeah, once I get all of the leaves on, I'll be back. Knew I was gonna die. I'm glad I set my spawn right here. I just jumped straight off. Okay, so I got the first level of the leaves completely on. And I think it's looking solid. I need more at the top for sure. And I also just need more in general, I think, on some of these branches. I really like this section over here because these 2 branches kind of merge together. And I think that looks really nice, especially from like this angle. And now I just need to run back through and just kind of throw a couple more leaves on. And I can probably work in some darker leaves. I can work in some of these oak leaves as well underneath. These will mainly be like down here. It's not a huge difference in color, but I do think it's enough that it makes it look pretty solid. All right, so I just threw a whole bunch of oak leaves on. So let me see what these look like. I think I filled this thing out actually pretty nicely. Yeah, that looks solid. Over here is a little bit bare. I'm noticing that now. Maybe I can just fill out this a little bit more. Honestly, I don't even really mind this little bare section. Because I don't know, trees are kind of like that sometimes. But I do think I will put something here. I'm just going to add one more branch. And then I'll put a couple leaves on top of it. That should help. All right, let me see if that one branch helped. Oh, yeah, it did. That one branch looks a lot better, I think, now. I like this tree a lot. I would also like to chuck in a little bit of mangrove here at the bottom. And then I also want to just scatter just a couple roots down here. Yeah, just something like that. Nothing too crazy here. I do have some lanterns. I should be able to hang some. There we go. I think lighting up this tree at night is going to be pretty cool. Let me put one near the top as well. The absolute final thing I want to add is just a couple spruce fence gates just scattered about. I love using these in trees. I think they look so good. They look like little twigs. And if you open the fence gate, then it really rounds off the branches. These are very easily becoming like my favorite decoration block. They're just so versatile. They can be used just in so many different ways. Now I think with that final touch added, this tree is completely done. That's a good tree. I'm really proud of this one. Sadly, I don't really think you're going to be able to see it too well in the thumbnail. I wanted to make it invisible. I should have made it taller, I guess. But the thumbnail will probably be like here-ish. I think this is the best angle of this building that I just made. And you can barely see a little piece of moss over there. I don't really think I'll be able to get the whole shebang in the thumbnail. It's fine. You guys all know it's here if you've seen the video. And that tree was the last thing I wanted to get done in this video. So thank you so much for watching this one. Am I out of food? I think I'm out of food. Whatever, I'll worry about that after the outro. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.